Hey yo, what's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence Boxing is back in the building again with some more Fluence Boxing news. And I'm talking about a particular topic that me personally, I felt like, what I'm saying? The controversy behind the two particular fighters have just been swept under the rug. We've been having so much things happen when it comes to the boxing community, whether it be the heavyweights going crazy, whether it be Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence possibly happening, whether it be Ryan Garcia versus Javante Davis trying to make a fight with all, these amazing boxing news, boxing events, what I'm saying, boxing possibilities going on. There was one particular controversy when it came to the results of two particular opponents that was absolutely at the forefront of boxing news earlier in the year that just totally has been forgotten. And now I may just be speaking to the U.S. side of the game. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people may still be talking about it when it goes to the overseas side of the game. But when it comes to the U.S., no one's talking about Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall anymore. No one is. And let's be 100% honest. I don't know how many people in the U.S. was talking about it, to begin with. Me personally, from the outside looking in, it did obviously look as if, the UK fans, overseas fans, they were a little bit more upset about this particular fight. They were more up in arms. There was more wanting to see a rematch. There was more wanting to see justice due to Jack Catterall. Well, the U.S. fans, either they paid attention to the fight, or they didn't. But you know how that goes sometimes. Now, with all that being said, I got an update for you guys, right? And this particular update might miss a lot of ears, miss a lot of eyes, miss a lot of minds when I come and tell y'all what's finna be happening. And the reason why I say that is because obviously there's not too much talk around these two particulars fighting because, well, let's just be 100% honest. That's all on Josh Taylor. What am I referring to? What am I getting at? What am I speaking about? Well, I'm sure you guys already have an idea of what I am trying to get into when it comes to this particular boxing news, because y'all see the title below. Y'all see the article over here. Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor, the rematch. It's still a big possibility. Now, if you guys were following this particular, chain of events when it comes to these two particular fighters, Josh Taylor won their first fight. It happened way earlier in the year. Actually, it happened so long ago, I could even say maybe it happened late last year. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it's been a while since they fought. And the results was controversial as hell, with the results being controversial, not in Josh Taylor's favor. You had a lot of people coming up in arms saying, yeah, Catterall deserves a rematch. Catterall deserves another chance. Catterall should be able to get that W back, or get that L back. Like, yo, you can't do Jack Catterall like this. Like, this ain't right. Like, what has this man done for y'all to play this man in this particular sense? So, unfortunately, Josh Taylor was the first person to respond, or I won't even say the first person to respond, but he, obviously being the fighter within the particular fight, when he says something, we're going to listen, right? Well, let's just say what he said ain't nobody wanted to listen to. You feel me? And what I'm saying, a lot of the rhetoric that he was, telling the people, telling the media, telling everybody out there was, yo, I won the fight. There's no reason to revisit it. I rewatched the fight. It's obvious I won the fight. I don't need to fight him again. Also, too, hey, yo, look, baby, I'm moving up in weight. I'm not even going to be at that weight class anymore. I'm going to welterweight. So if he wants that work, we can do a catch weight bout. Obviously not for the belts. He can move up to 147. Josh Taylor was talking mad reckless about the Jack Catterall rematch, period. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. It's documented. Josh Taylor talked mad reckless about that particular rematch happening. What I mean about him talking mad reckless, he made it very clear he had no intentions to give Jack Catterall a rematch unless it was on his terms. He also made it very clear he was moving up to 147. He didn't plan on fighting at 140 anymore. A lot of things he made clear. So, obviously, with all the stuff happening in boxing, the first thing us fans did was like, yo, well, I'm not really paying attention to the whole situation no more, because Josh Taylor has made it clear Catterall's not getting the fight. He's moving up in weight. He's vacating his belt, etc., etc. Well, as we all know, with Terrence Crawford leaving Top Rank, because a lot of people don't understand that the reason why Josh Taylor actually signed with Bob Arum Top Rank, he wanted to, get the Terrence Crawford fight. But with Terrence Crawford leaving Top Rank, getting tied up with the Errol Spence situation, not so many notable welterweight names at Top Rank. Josh Taylor, he was in a bad spot. And the reason why we know he's in a bad spot, because brother ain't fought since the Catterall fight. So that tells you how much of a bad spot he's in. So Now we're at a situation where, Josh Taylor changed his tune a little bit. And he was saying, well, I don't know if I'm going to be moving up from 140 to 147. I don't really want to drop all my belts because, initially he said he was going to drop them. He ended up having to drop at least one of them. I think he still has the other two, and I'll be corrected if I'm wrong once we go through, the details and the nitty gritty of this particular article. But, this, long story short, I don't want to be too long-winded with this because we are going to read the article. Josh Taylor was all over the place. It definitely seemed like he didn't want the Jack Catterall rematch. I'm not saying that has anything to do with him feeling like he lost or he won, but I just think that Josh Taylor felt like he was levels above him, and he was like, yo, like, man, you ain't on my level. And I'm not talking about the sense of boxing skill, but popularity, trajectory, the amount of money being put into a particular fighter. So he's like, why should I give you another chance? That does nothing for me. I need to find the biggest fight out there. Well, yeah, he looked and he looked and he looked and he searched and he searched. You know what I'm saying? He was on a Sherlock Holmes type of game, and he could not find a bigger fight than Jack Catterall with how things ended up coming around. So, it was speculated that they were trying to make the Jack Catterall Taylor fight as of like a couple months ago. Josh Taylor said he was on board. He changed his tune. He said, hey, yo, actually, I may be open to the Jack Catterall rematch, etc. But other than that, other than speculation, we haven't got a date. We haven't got any confirmation. We just, all we've gotten is, the possibility of the fight happening. Well, we have an update. Well, I have an update for y'all. And it looks like Taylor versus Catterall 2 will happen. It just all comes down to the date. And the reason why I truly believe it's going to happen is because, one, Josh Taylor doesn't have anybody else to fight right now. It just doesn't make any sense for him to fight anybody but Catterall. He'll make the most money fighting him, as in, of his picks that, of his picks of the litter that he has right now. He'll make the most money fighting Catterall. And then also he'll have the most eyeballs fighting Catterall based off of all the controversy and shit from the first fight and the build up and the lead up, etc. So Taylor versus Catterall will happen because it's the only fight that makes sense for Taylor. It's the only fight that makes sense for Catterall. The question is when, where, and how. That's the question. Hopefully we can answer those questions by reading this article from BoxingScene.com. Please, before we get into the nitty gritty, hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, show your boy some love. Road to 5K. You already know what type of time we on, baby. Notification gang, all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and get into this. Coming from Boxing Scene, Taylor Catterall rematch, date in limbo, mostly due to building availability in UK. So seems like they both agreed to the fight. Both teams have agreed to. So February 22nd was when their first fight happened. So it did happen this year. God damn, time flies. But it seems like they both agreed to the fight. Just the problem is getting the date. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall still want to fight each other again, finalizing the date. And the venue for their second 140-pound title fight has become problematic, which has left the Scottish southpaw and his English nemesis in limbo. BoxingScene.com has learned that building availability in the United Kingdom, where their immediate rematch will take place, is the primary problem that's preventing their promoters, Top Rank and Boxer, from finalizing an agreement to make an official announcement. As BoxingScene.com reported late in July, the targeted date and venue for Taylor Catterall 2 were November 26th at OVO Hydro in Glasgow, where their first fight took place. Promoters later began exploring venues in England, including AO Arena in Manchester, and since it's moved off the November 26th date. It is possible, if a suitable venue cannot be secured for a December date, probably December 17th, that the Taylor Catterall rematch might not happen until early in 2023, which I think would be a big mistake. I think if they waited that long for that fight to happen, no one's going to give a fuck about it. If you people already are starting to not care about it. I think they waited, and I don't know whose fault this is. It seems like it is on Josh Taylor's side of the game why this particular fight has been delayed so long. But for them not to try and get this fight going and still work off the momentum of the controversy of the first fight, if it happens in 2023, yeah, there's gonna be people who's gonna pay attention, but it's gonna be the fans of Taylor and Catterall. Other than that, you're losing all momentum between this, and you're losing a lot of momentum for Josh Taylor because Josh Taylor has a very, bright career at 140, even 147. But I don't know, man. I think that would just be if it happens in 2023. I would say, man, I don't see a big upside in Josh Taylor's career. I think this is a big hiccup right now in his career that he didn't expect to happen, and it being just delayed, I don't think that's a good look for him. Let me know if you guys agree with me or disagree. But it's been nearly a year, like I said, or more than a year that will elapse from the time Taylor won his controversial split decision earlier in the year. So regardless, Taylor has pushed for a second chance to prove his superiority over Catterall. Taylor could have chosen another opponent for his next fight, but he wants to atone for his subpar performance against Catterall, a fellow southpaw who was the WBO's mandatory challenger for Taylor's title. There's truth to that. There's not truth to that. He avoided this fight for as long as he could. The Terrence Crawford fight went out of his sight. A lot of the current 140s, right now they're signed with other promotion. The dominant names, the 147 top names, are signed with other promotions that's not named ESPN. or Top Rank. So he's in a position where like this is really the only fight he has that people will put their eyeballs on. It'll cause controversy and may bring in a lot of people to actually watch. So with that being said, so it looks like they were pushing for a November date that fell through. They were pushing for a December date that fell through. I'm hoping they can get this done for December, but the way this is looking, this might be pushed all the way into the beginning of next year. I don't think that's a good look for Josh Taylor and his career, his trajectory. I think that will be a big handicap in his career, and it's gonna make it even harder for him. I'm like, he's having trouble finding somebody to fight this year. Think if you postpone that Jack Catterall rematch all the way until next year. Think how hard it is to get anybody notable at 140 or anybody notable at 147, unless it's within the top rank side of the game. And we know Top Rank, the only notable 140 guy they have right now. I guess you could say Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor. Yeah, I guess that would be a good fight. Jose Ramirez, at 147 is still there, but he already beat Jose Ramirez, so there's not many options when it comes to Josh Taylor. So if I was him, I would try to get this fight out of the way, make a statement, and then hopefully put your name back in that buzz, back in that circle where people are wanting to see you against some of the top 140s, and even people were speculating at one time they would love to see you against Terrence Crawford. So as of now, no one is. My personal opinion. Outside looking in. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but let me know what you guys think, man. Drop it below in the comments. If y'all disagree, agree with me, whatever the case may be, hit the like button. You already know what it is, man. I'm here forever and ever on the Schwarzenegger side of the game, man. I'll be back with more boxing. Stay blessed, not stressed. Much love to the people.